Hey, what's up guys? Nils here and welcome back to another video. So today we're back in Anime Adventures yet again, and we're actually gonna go ahead and make a tier list. Now I know that there is a lot of tier lists around, but I feel like they have so many mistakes, like all of them have a lot of mistakes, and besides that I think a really good thing would be if I actually go ahead and explain you guys what every single unit does, what is its strengths and weaknesses and whatnot. So this is pretty much exactly what we are gonna do, and I have a whole bunch of units here where I went ahead and cut out their pictures, and now we're just gonna label them here. Now just for reference, this is sort of a tier list that it's not exactly story or infinite mode, it's a little bit of both, and I will also go ahead and explain you guys each and every single unit, its strengths, weaknesses, and how it ranks. And this is gonna be pretty much an overall sort of a tier list, if that's a thing even. I don't know. If it's not, we just made it up. But anyway, let's jump over to the actual screen here, and we're gonna start labeling the units all one by one. Now, first things first, we have Eren here. Eren is a legendary, and unfortunately he is really bad. So what he does is he spawns a whole bunch of giants that march from your base towards the spawn, but his damage is really bad, and he's honestly probably the worst legendary. If not, he's definitely tied for the second worst legendary, and yeah, it's just a complete disappointment. So we're just gonna drop him here in the C tier, and that's gonna be it. Next up we have Giorno. Now Giorno, the guy obviously looks pretty cool, and in this game guys, Giorno, if you are lucky enough to get him early on, he can single-handedly carry you throughout the entire story mode. This unit just by himself can solo the entire story mode, so for that reason alone we're gonna place him in the A tier. He does pretty decent damage. Obviously a legendary unit can compare it with the mythical, but considering the fact alone that he can solo the entire story mode by himself, we are gonna place him in the A tier, and somewhere around like here at the end of the A tier. Next up we have Itachi, another legendary. Now Itachi is honestly pretty bad. That being said, he is not as bad as Eren. Eren is a complete category on his own. He's absolutely horrible. So we're gonna place Itachi somewhere here in the B tier. Next up we have Diavolo. Now this unit, people tend to think, guys, that this unit is really bad. It's a bad mythical. People tell you not to go for it. So I will tell you exactly what happens with this unit. So Diavolo is a unit that you should be going after, but he shouldn't be your priority. Now basically what happens with him is that he's a single target unit that does a lot of damage, and when I say a lot, I literally mean a lot. I think on his max rank, even at level 1, he does 1.5k, but it's all single target damage, so he's a great boss killer, as you can probably imagine, considering there's bosses in this game. And he also has a cross map time stop, so anything in the map will get time stopped by his special ability. Now I guess we can go ahead and put him on the top of the A tier. I think that's a pretty fair ranking, because for better or for worse, he's gonna be used as probably your last unit in your team, and he is not a priority for the reasons that I just mentioned. That being said, do not sleep on this unit, guys. It's a very good unit to round up a great infinite team, as some of these bosses are very beefy actually. Next up we have Super Saiyan Blue Goku. Obviously we're gonna put him in S tier because he looks cool. Okay, I'm joking, no. So Goku here, he has a line attack, his Kamehameha ability, on a pretty high SPA, roughly 10 seconds, and later on his cone, like his arc, just gets a little bit bigger, but he's honestly not very impressive of a unit. He's still pretty decent, so we're gonna put him like somewhere here in the A tier. He's a little bit better than Giorno because he does a little bit more damage and he has a wider area of attacks, but he's honestly not impressive. Next up we have Speedwagon. So Speedwagon, just like in ASTD, is a money unit, and remember what I said earlier, So we are gonna define this S tier as the meta. So we are gonna put Speedwagon up here in the S tier, and I will explain you guys why I put him in the S tier. So here's the situation between Bulma and Speedwagon, right? People are asking which one is better. If you're playing Infinite, I would suggest you to go for Bulma. Bulma gives you a little bit more money. Bulma gives you at max rank, everything maxed out. Bulma gives 8k per round, while Speedwagon makes 7.5k. But hear me out, guys. For Infinite, Bulma is better. When it comes to story mode, Speedwagon is a better unit to use, and that is for two reasons. First of all, the first reason is that Speedwagon can actually be sold as soon as you hit wave 15, the last wave. You can sell him for 6.6k yen and just use all of that yen as well for upgrades. Unlike Bulma, which you cannot sell, so pretty much it's the exact opposite from ASTD, where in ASTD you couldn't sell Speedwagon, but in this game you actually can. And the second reason why Speedwagon is really good, considering his upgrade costs are not as high as Bulma's, like not instantly high, like you don't have to pay a huge amount now to upgrade. It allows you for like small upgrades between waves on story mode, and that way it increases your money income. I don't know if you guys are understanding what I'm trying to say, but like for example, let's say you have like 2k yen right now and the round is about to end. There is a high chance that you're gonna be able to upgrade one of your Speedwagons, and you're gonna benefit from the yen upgrade while you wouldn't be able to upgrade a Bulma. So Speedwagon is probably the best money unit for story. I would say he is better than Bulma, and for that reason we're gonna put him in the S tier, considering we call that the meta. And yeah, pretty much S tier is gonna be all meta units that you wanna have and that you will be using. Next up, we have Dio. Dio is probably the best legendary in the game. I personally think Erwin is a little bit better, but he is a must-have in your team, guys. So you wanna stack up your gems and round them up and use that PT to get your hands on a Dio. Now, what makes Dio so good is that Dio has a time stop, and what makes it even better than just a time stop is that it is an automatic cast time stop. So you don't have to press any buttons. Dio will just attack and he's gonna time stop whenever he does his weird looking ability. So great unit, does decent damage, I guess, not that bad. And automatic time stop, you don't have to worry about it, which is great. Next up, we have Armin. Armin, I honestly don't know why this unit is a mythic. He's really, really bad. He's completely disappointing. He does no damage whatsoever. So that's kind of sad to see. But anyway, we have him here, so we have to place him somewhere. Obviously, he is not as bad as Eren, so we're not going to place him in the crappy tier. But we're going to place him up here with Itachi on the B tier. And I think that's pretty much sums up B tier. Maybe Goku Black, I don't know, we'll see later on. Next up, we have Broly. Now, Broly has been a very hot topic actually on the game ever since it was released. People have been saying that Broly is the best unit in the game. I personally don't agree. I have been saying since day one that Madara is the best damaging unit in the game. And then people started getting the belt to evolve Broly, and Broly became an absolute beast. Broly does very good damage, don't get me wrong, he just doesn't do insane damage, but the perks of Broly pros, unlike Madara, is that he actually covers the entire map with his range. So I would say that he is the second best unit in the game right now. I still put Madara over him, so easily an S tier unit. You wanna get him and you wanna evolve him, so you just wanna take a look at the Traveling Merchant. His evolve item is popping actually very, very often on there. So keep an eye out, and whenever it is there, just go ahead and snatch it. Next up, we have Pain, another legendary unit. Pain, again, nothing crazy in terms of damage output, but Pain is actually one of the two units in the game that have a knockback. So when Pain attacks, he actually knocks enemies backward, which is pretty great for Infinite. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, and I don't have to really explain why. So Pain is easily deserving to be in the A tier simply because of his ability to knock back enemies, because it's a very, very great thing to use in your toolkit for Infinite. Next up, we have Levi. Levi is another mythic unit that's honestly not that impressive in itself. Like, it's really not that great of a unit. But Levi does a lot better than Armin, actually. Armin is just a complete disappointment. So we're going to put Levi in the A tier. It is a pretty decent unit. So if you have him, it's not that bad. Like, probably it's going to be in your core team and you are going to use him. Now, Levi does AoE damage, but his circle of AoE is extremely small, so units have to be sort of stacked on top of each other to hit all of them. Besides that, it really doesn't do that much damage, but we're still gonna comfortably put him in the A tier because his scaling as a mythical is pretty decent. Next up, we have Davi, the worst unit in the game. This unit is an absolute disappointment, and if you have it, guys, I'm sorry, but this unit is absolutely garbage. And if you spend your gems on trying to get it, once again, I am sorry because this unit is extremely bad. Anyway, there's not much that we can do about it. If you have it, you have it, but I'm pretty sure you guys realized as well that it's a very disappointing unit, so definitely bottom of the C tier. Next up, we have All Might, aka Captain America on steroids. So All Might is a mythic unit that people have been sleeping on. Now, once you evolve this unit becomes a complete monster, and I literally mean a monster. People have been sleeping on him big time. So basically, when he's not evolved, he's honestly not that great, but once you evolve him, his range is quite big. He covers most of the map, I guess I should say. He has a very big circle area of attack, and most importantly, when you evolve him, he actually has a knockback as well. So evolved All Might is easily a top 3 unit, so we're gonna place him right here next to Broly because it is a great unit. And maybe you could make the argument that he's actually as good as Broly. I don't know, I don't want to go there, I don't want people to be mad at me, but yeah. Next up, we have Rengoku. Rengoku is a great mythical unit. It does crap tons of damage. It also has a built-in burn effect, which is a dot basically and does constant ticking damage. But the downside of Rengoku is that it doesn't have an evolution, so it really cannot keep up with units like Broly, All Might, Madara, etc. So we're just gonna put him here in the A tier. Very good damage, like a lot of damage as a unit, very high damage abilities. But he doesn't do anything else apart damage, and since he's not evolvable, he honestly just cannot compete with the other mythics. And the reason I put him behind Diavolo is because you have a lot of units that can do damage by themselves, but what Diavolo does, there's not many units in the game that can do it. Insane single target damage and a cross map time stop. So I would say Diavolo is better than Rengoku, considering there's other units that do Rengoku's job a lot better. Next up, we have Erwin. Now, guys, if you personally ask me, I would put Erwin on the top of the S tier. I think Erwin is a crazy good unit. Obviously, it's not a unit that's going to give you the numbers that a Broly, All Might, or Madara might give you. But that being said, Erwin is doing so much for you that honestly, it's just like, it's a carry unit. You need to get your hands on an Erwin ASAP. Whenever you have gems, stack them up for a pity. You should save 2.5k gems or 2.2 or 2k, whatever it is if you are VIP. And when Erwin is on the banner, go ahead and spin for him. So what Erwin does is, obviously he's a buffer unit. First of all, he gives 25% damage buff to the rest of your team. And the most important thing about Erwin is that for those of you guys that may not have seen the unit, Erwin doesn't directly attack units. So Erwin every 10 to 15 seconds starts spawning horses from your base running to the spawn. And why that is so good is because oftentimes, you know, you might not kill some stuff and then you have to backtrack and then you have to go back and put units down and waste money. So Erwin basically patches up this hole in your team early on when you want to try to set up your farm going. And those horses do honestly a lot of work. And I could easily just say that Erwin is probably the most important unit in a team. It does so much work, it's actually crazy. Next up, we have Jotaro. Now, Jotaro is pretty much a budget Dio. I think that's a very good way of putting him out, like, and just labeling him. So what Jotaro does is pretty much a little bit less damage than Dio, and he has a time stop, but his time stop, as opposed to Dio's, is manual. So that is his weakness compared to a Dio, and that's why we put him in the A tier. But if you don't have Dio and you have Jotaro, I think Jotaro deserves to be in the A tier because it does pretty much what a Dio does, just a little bit less. Now, I will go ahead and resize all of these frames later, so for now it's going to be a little bit messy, guys, but it is what it is. I think that's fine with everybody. I don't think anybody minds. So they're going to be a little bit weird looking for now. Let's do this, and that should be fine. Where's pain? Okay, that's pretty awkward. Oh, that was Speedwagon that I was dragging. Okay, never mind. Right, there we go. Now, next up, we have Madara. As I have said many times, and it's not because I have him, Madara, guys, is the best unit in the game. Madara does insane amounts of damage, and I actually just evolved my Madara earlier today, as you guys saw in the video. And honestly, the unit just slaps. It does infinite damage, like doing 10k damage on that big of a cone every less than 10 seconds is just insane. It is just a pure infinite damage machine, and it is an absolute banger of a unit. He doesn't have the big range that Broly has, but he just does so much more damage. He just demolishes everything. Next up, we have Todoroki. Now, Todoroki, again, another epic, and you might be wondering why I have him here. The only reason that I have him here is because Todoroki has a built-in slow, and by the way, I think this is the worst iteration of Todoroki that I have seen in any anime game. Like, his slow is honestly pretty bad. It's not even that good, but regardless, I think he deserves to be here on this list, so we're just gonna put him here in the B tier, considering he's honestly not that bad. And if you have him, you probably want to use him strictly for the fact that he just slows units. So I'm just gonna go ahead and drop him here on the B tier for that reason. Next up, we have Bulma. We talked earlier about Bulma versus Speedwagon, so we're just gonna put them, both of them, up there together. And yeah, like Bulma for Infinite, Speedwagon for Story. That's my opinion, and I think it's pretty accurate. And last but not least, we have the Goku Black, the most drip unit in the game. He looks mad cool. I really like Goku Black as a unit. I love how he looks. But unfortunately, guys, for us, Goku Black is just horrendously bad. Like, he just doesn't do any damage. He's a very bad unit, and he doesn't offer anything to the team. And we're gonna put him on the top of the C tier just because he looks cool, but he's honestly pretty underwhelming in terms of what he brings to the table. And yeah, that is pretty much the entire tier list, and hopefully you guys have any questions now, or whether, if you had any questions, actually they have been answered by now with all of the stuff that I showed you here. So that is pretty much it about the tier. There is nothing else that I think is not worthy of coming on here, so I'm just gonna rearrange a little bit everything to fit here, and I will see you guys in a bit. Alright guys, so I rearranged everything, and this is the final product. Now, in case you want a copy of the picture, I have gone ahead and pinned this on my Discord server on the general chat, so just go ahead and check the pins there, and it's gonna be there. And I think we covered pretty much everything, so let's just jump into a challenge right now. And that was pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys have found it helpful. As always, make sure to click the like and subscribe button down below, and I will see you guys all on the next one. Take care.